everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Slow Blink Anime Podcast. This is Phil.
This is Candace.
And today we're talking about an anime that I got recommended to me by one of my relatives. You can look at his channel, it's Akira Tempest. He said it was a really great anime and that I had to check it out. And I'll link him below in the description too. But today we're going to be talking about That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. So this is another isekai type anime that I was mainly the one that was watching this, and Candace was kind of watching it off and on and just seeing a few episodes.
No, I just, when it's playing, I just watch it, but, I'm not focused on it or whatever. I'll be on my phone and I would take a glance here and there.
Yeah, but I was really enjoying it. It was really interesting for me. It's a different kind of concept that I wasn't really expecting. So
okay, what's so unique about it? What is it about?
Let me tell you a brief summary. So it's the main character. He starts off in the human world, and his name is Mikami in the human world. He ends up getting killed, and then he gets sent to another world. So that's your basic premise of the whole thing.
Okay.
But the big selling point of this anime is that he's turned into a slime, which is the weakest type mob in any kind of video game or any kind of world simulator. But it's he's not turned into this badass character or this super awesome person with powers. But he did get a power, but it wasn't blatantly OP from the very beginning. You get this new sword attack or something or lightning. But he gets turned into a slime, and he gets his main skill called Predator, which is funny, and I'll explain that in just a little bit.
Okay.
But it starts off, like I said, he's just a regular office worker. His name's Mikami, and one day one of his kohai invites him out to go have dinner or lunch with his new girlfriend. And the whole thing was the kohai was just inviting him out to kind of show off the girl and seeing he can do well. But they're walking down the street, and then some crazy person, I'm not sure what was going on, but he had a knife and he was just charging straight in, and he was about to attack Mikami's friend that invited him out. But Mikami pushed him out of the way. He's like, "What am I doing?" And as soon as he pushed him out of the way, he got stabbed by that crazy person. So that's how he ends up dying. And the whole time, this whole first part of the first episode, but he's dying and he's thinking these thoughts in his head. He's like, I should have done this, or I wanted to do this. But the main thing was that I should have had sex with more girls. That was his main thing. And as he's describing these things, there's this thing called Great Sage, which was kind of like a narrator for the show, and kind of like his guide or whatever. But he gets a skill called Predator. So it's saying how he was a sexual predator kind of. Okay. That was the tie in between it, but it's actually a really cool skill that he can absorb anything he absorbs. He'll get all the skills from whatever that is, or he can break it down to. So that was the skill that we think is just this funny skill, but he gets transported to this new world and he gets reincarnated there.
Okay.
And the whole first episode's a little bit slow. It's kind of building the world, kind of showing us, explaining. They make it really cool how it's really RPG, MMORPG style, or a traditional game.
Like SAO?
Something like that. You get every time he absorbs something, it'll get he'll get information about it and break it down like a video game, which is really cool, and I liked it.
And why he can see the statistics of it.
Yeah, he can see stats and stuff, and it explains it. And then if he finds out that if he gets in the water, he can use some kind of he can learn skills too also from doing that. So he's exploring throughout the cave, and he's kind of developing himself a little bit. He runs into this really powerful energy that he feels, and he can't see it. So there's this huge dragon that he's talking to, and it's locked up behind this spell. And then he talks to the dragon, they make friends. And then the dragon ends up teaching him how he can see. And then he sees it and he freaks out because it's this huge, powerful blue dragon. And they introduce themselves. And he ends up telling them he's called Veldora. And he's supposedly the guardian of this forest that they're in. And everything in that area is under his protection. But he said he got locked away by the hero. And it was almost, I think it was 300 years ago that he's been in there. So they make friends, and he ends up, the dragon Veldora, super powerful dragon, ends up being like this tsundere type character, where he's like, oh, do you like me? Or like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I like you or anything, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
But it's really funny how they like kind of bond. So to get him out, they come up with this plan, because how he has to study something and it breaks it down. Mm-hmm. And that's how he can, like, he has to deconstruct it, and that's how he learns something. So he's going to absorb the whole dragon in that spell, and at the same time the dragon's going to be absorbing it from within him, and that hopefully down the line they'll end up learning how to break the spell that's keeping Veldora trapped inside of him. But when they do that, they end up causing like a chain reaction that they weren't aware of, because the whole forest that Veldora was in, he no longer has that protection over everything, so like all the monsters are kind of going crazy.
Okay.
So that was like how this whole story begins, and for probably like half the episode, next episode, the main character's name is Rimuru. Whenever he turns into the slime, so he goes his way through the whole cave that they're trapped inside of, and he's like absorbing things and getting more skills. He's kind of getting like more confident in himself, and it's really cool seeing like how he's progressing, and like this really basic skill that he was given kind of like on accident almost, from just this whim of a thought that he had right before he was dying, is becoming really beneficial to him, and that's really like what's driving him right now. But he finally ends up escaping, and there's these huge doors that he goes through, and some other journeymen are going through when he was leaving. But he escapes, and he ends up coming across this goblin village that's being attacked by these wolves, and he ends up protecting these wolves, and it's kind of like how he's progressing through a story almost, like in a video game, because he ends up protecting these wolves and befriending the wolves and the goblins from all this. And he's kind of like a mediator between all this, because the way he talks is he's got a really good way of convincing people. Okay. But I don't know if do you remember watching these episodes?
Yeah, some of it I kind of remember.
Yeah, like the leader of this wolf pack that was attacking the goblins, he killed the leader, and he ends up transforming into him and kind of making all the wolves submit to him. Because he can, once he absorbs something, he can take on that person's appearance or monster's appearance. Okay. So he ends up naming each and every person of the goblin village, and what he didn't find out was that causes like his magicka to go down, and he drained his all magicka, and he was like passed out for 3 days, and when he woke up, all of these goblins were like evolved, like they were all muscular, all the women were like taller and pretty now, and it was just funny. But it's like he's learning about the world the same way a character in a game would learn about the world while he's playing. Like you're playing a video game and you're kind of seeing how all this works. Yeah. So they're all friends now in this village, and now he's like, well, we don't have any way to build homes, or we don't have any way to build or make clothes. So he's like, where do we got to go? And then like the people from the goblins from the village tell him, you got to go to these dwarves in this other city. So it's just like a RPG. We're like, all right, you got your base, now you got to build houses for it. And where you got to go? You got to go get materials and stuff. Yeah. So he ends up going to these this dwarf kingdom, and he ends up winning them over because he's able to make these healing potions, and it's interesting how he kind of has, I'm not sure how to describe. He's got this thing about him where everybody's drawn to him. It's like a charisma. Yeah, like a charisma. And he's really good about keeping his calm about everything, which is, he attributes it a lot to how he was kind of
back when he was a human.
And he had to work in the office, and he knows how to respect people and how to treat people, treat them how they need to be, how they would want to be treated. So he ends up making friends with the dwarves over there and bringing them back after this whole kind of he like helped them out to make some swords for an order that he needed, and this master dwarf.
So okay, hold on. So question: he is aware of his entire life, right? Like,
yeah, he remembers everything.
He remembers everything, right? did he ever try to figure out how do I turn back into a human?
No, he knows he's dead.
Okay, and then he just accepted everything that was happening to him. I'm a slime. I'm just gonna live with it.
He's just trying to make the best of his life right now.
That was like he's not wondering like what is this crazy world like? Is this heaven? Like what is this? You know, like.
Well, there was I think I didn't mention this earlier, but one of the characters talked to him about it, and there was other people that were sent from other worlds to this world that they're in, and they can come either two ways. They can be reincarnated like he was.
Okay, so there is some kind of explanation.
Yeah, I didn't mention that
because I'm like kind of curious. Like, so he just accepted it. Like, right, I'm a slime.
And it's a common thing for people to know that they can be from other worlds. And the other way they can come is either being summoned, which is gonna come up later. Mm-hmm. So.
Okay.
The main thing from going to that dwarf kingdom, he brought back the dwarves that can kind of build the homes and do the clothes and everything for his people. But he went to like a fortune teller there, or one of at the bar, there's like a lady that could do the fortune telling, and she said the person he's going to end up being with is I think he saw a picture of her, and it was just like this dark blue-haired girl, and she looked like a warrior almost.
Mm-hmm. With a scar.
Yeah, with a scar on her face.
Make it interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But then that was the main thing, and then this girl shows up in the next few episodes, and she's with like this group of people that he saw coming out of the.
So what is the main big picture goal?
This is like that part I was about to tell you was the driving point of his whole reason for being. Because that girl was going to be like the love of his life, apparently. So she ends up showing up to the village where he's at. And she was actually summoned from another world, too. And they kind of bond over that together. And they're both Japanese. Mm-hmm. They're both from Japan. And he kind of infers that something's going on with her. And as soon as she's about to leave the village, something goes wrong with her. Something does go wrong with her. She apparently got summoned, and then it was a demon lord that summoned her, and he let like a demon spirit. It's called the Ifrit, like this fire spirit, go into her body, and I guess holding off the spell for so long, and she was kind of getting old now, and she just couldn't hold it anymore, and that Ifrit burst out of her, and it destroys the whole city. So he has to Rimuru. He has to fight that spirit, and of course, from all the skills he's learned, it's not a hard task for him because he's invulnerable to fire, and he learns like a ice move from doing the fight with one of the other people helping out. Mm-hmm. But he absorbs that Ifrit and kind of takes it away from the girl, so it's not out of her anymore. Mm-hmm. And after that, she's gonna pass away, and she tells him her last thoughts and like her last wishes. And she just wants to she wanted to go confront the demon lord and ask him why he summoned her to this world. That was the main thing. And Rimuru, the slime, absorbs the girl he's supposed to fall in love with. And so the fortune did kind of come true where he was always going to be together with her. Mm-hmm. But that's when he gets his human form. So now he can turn into a human. And it's this... Like this, he says it's not either a boy or a girl, but he looks just like a girl and looks just like the
flat-chested.
Yeah, the woman that he absorbed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Shizu. Her name was Shizu.
So what's gonna happen with this girl? Like, I'm pretty sure she's not gone forever.
She did die.
She did die?
Yeah, she was dying, and right before she died, her last wish was for him to absorb her.
Okay, and then his goal now is to find out why.
To face that demon lord and find out why.
We have found out why she was summoned.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that there should be a way to make her come back somehow. Probably future seasons or something. Because they're not just gonna have that one of the main characters just go away like that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking anyway.
Yeah, maybe because mostly she's been coming back in flashbacks because it kind of described her. There's like it showed her background right before she passed away, and she raised some kids too, like at a school, and taught them about magic and about life and stuff. So I think those kids are gonna be more of how she comes back in the story, like through them.
So, okay, so main character dies in real world, gets transferred into this fantasy world, kind of, and then what if he dies in this current world? What's gonna happen to him?
That hasn't really come up yet in this. Maybe he'll get reincarnated somewhere else. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
So it's never ending.
Well, we don't know. Like, they haven't, from what I've seen, they haven't mentioned it.
Okay.
And I'm only talking about episodes 1 through 14 right now. So it's about halfway through the anime. But the next thing that happens was they find out there's a huge orc army coming through. And he ends up having to... One of the spirits of the forest comes... I think it was a dryad. That's what they called them. Dryads comes and asks for help because he's so powerful, to help to defeat this army of the orc lord. And then she tells him about the skill that this orc lord has, that he casts it upon all of his people, and it was called something with hunger. It was like, yeah, he has this skill called starved, and it's kind of similar to his skill predator, because anything they eat, they get the power of.
Okay.
So then that's how this first part's gonna finish off, because he's gonna face the Orc Lord, and it's really a great anime so far from what I've seen. It's beautiful animation, the opening and ending music is great, and the story's interesting, and it's got a different take on an isekai that I've never really seen before. Like the last isekai I've seen was ReZero, and I really liked that one too, because that was kind of a different. It didn't take your general, like, just superhero like Sword Art Online, for example. Like, he's just OP completely. But this one, he's got a reason to be powerful, and then he's got a...
He starts from the bottom and learning from everything.
And they kind of give us those simple, plain episodes at the beginning to show us that he's not just... Like, he's a regular slime. Like, the lowest of the low. And that's a whole thing in the whole show. They keep bringing that up. Like, how can you be working under a measly slime, is what they keep saying. But then, like, all his people always defend him no matter what. Like, they back him up for sure and everything. Like, you dare talk to my master like this? But it's really good so far. And I really enjoyed it.
So it kind of sounds to me like he's like the overpowered, weakest version of his kind. Because it sounds like he has all these strong people around him. He's strong himself too, despite being the lowest kind of monster. No, like, being the lowest kind of monster, and he's able to do all these things, makes me wonder, do all the other slimes are able to do this, or maybe it's just him?
I think it's just him, because they keep saying, because the whole time they're saying slimes are just like the lowest of the low, like I've said, just a simple monster. But I think him being reincarnated in this world isn't something that happens super often for them, and something similar would happen, like your last thoughts. I think that's how they describe it. Your last thoughts become your powers in this world. So
it's like, it's kind of like all the things that he wasn't able to do when he was still a human being benefited him in this next world. It's like the total opposite of his human self. It's like whatever his boring normal life was before is now turned over in this new world. It's just a complete opposite.
Yeah, it's almost like all his regrets, he's getting to kind of wash those away and live the life he wanted to live.
Yeah, because that's how it's sounding to me. Like, he's given another chance to do everything that he wanted to do, and he was a human, except that now with actual powers.
Yeah.
Not normal stuff. And it seems like, for the most part, a lot of the things that he was able to achieve was through his charisma. not really much of the fist to fist
Yeah.
fighting,
Mm-hmm.
obey me,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, the first thing he wants to do is always the first thing is not to fight always when he confronts somebody or somebody confronts him. Even if they've done something wrong to his people, he'll always try to talk his way through that before it comes to violence.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate.
Yeah, that's how I'm kind of picturing the anime, because I mean, every time I see like parts of the episodes, I'm just like, this anime looks fun, but I really don't care much.
Yeah. But I'm really enjoying it. Y'all should give it a chance if y'all haven't seen it yet. I know it's kind of an older one, probably early last year. Early last year came out, I think.
It's not an old anime. It's a pretty animated. It's just early.
Relatively old. Early last year.
No.
Oh, it's 2018 is when it came out.
That is very new. It's pretty new.
Yeah, we're just barely getting around to seeing it.
It sounds like a fun, what do you call it? Like, if you watched a very intense, good anime and then you want to kind of take a break, kind of like that fun, chill anime. That's how it sounds to me. It's like an anime in between two intense, very good, crazy animes to watch. That's how it kind of sounds to me.
Yep, I would agree. I have to agree. Yeah.
What?
No, I'm liking it. I agree with you. But yeah, as soon as I get done finish it, probably in a few days, I'll give you the rest of the thoughts. I think I've got like 5 or 6 more episodes, and I'll finish up. Yeah. But I'm really enjoying it, and I hope y'all give it a watch if you haven't seen it yet. I recommend it so far, and I'll tell you for sure in the next video.
Right now, hold on. Right now, where are you going to rate it from 1 to 10? 10 being like the best anime you've ever watched in your life ever.
The best anime?
Yep. 1 is like, don't even try it. Like, it's a waste of time.
Rated 1 to 10, 1 being the best. It would be, with 10 being the best, it would probably be, as of right now, like a 6 or 7 in that area. Okay. 6 or 7. Sounds closer to 7.
Okay, I was gonna say sounds reasonable until you said 7.
That's good.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say?
That's all I got so far. We appreciate y'all listening.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Hit like and subscribe in our channel. Share the video. And we'll see you next time.